Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. We are joined this morning by Josh Phillips from Nextdoor. He's up probably dark and early over there in San Francisco to join us and talk to us about the Nextdoor platform and how it can benefit realtors. So we'll give everybody just a second to get their volumes turned up and join in, and then we will go ahead and get started. So
Morning,
if you're having trouble hearing us, just turn up your volume. And then Josh, if you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself really quick, and then we'll start talking about Nextdoor.
Yeah, my name is Josh Phillips, and I'm a product manager at Nextdoor. I own our real estate product, which is almost a year and a half old. And I've been at Nextdoor for just about 6 months. And I'm excited to talk to you all about the value that it provides for
Okay, very cool. So what is Nextdoor?
So Nextdoor is a private social network for neighborhoods. I like to think of it as a communication platform that neighbors can use to build happier and safer places to call home. Some primary use cases that members use the platform for are reporting crime, finding lost pets, buying and trading goods through classifieds, and finding professional services. In fact, 28% of all member conversations on Nextdoor are around recommendations, and real estate is a big piece of that.
Absolutely. I know personally I've used it to find a lawn guy and different things like that for myself. So it definitely recommendations are huge on there.
Yeah.
So who uses Nextdoor?
Yeah, so Nextdoor is used by millions of people in the US, the UK, the Netherlands, France, Italy, and Germany. And we actually just launched in Spain last week. Currently, our real estate product is only available to the US. But in the US, it's been adopted by over 170,000 neighborhoods, which is about 80% neighborhood penetration. What's really interesting about Nextdoor and different from other platforms is that we have 100% real people on our platform. There are no bots. So if you pay for advertisements, you're never wasting those on computers.
Yeah.
100% of our members have verified addresses, which is very unique to us as well. So you can target at the hyper local level. And 72% of our members are homeowners, which is really valuable to real estate agents. And we tend to skew a little bit high on the income side. The average household income on Nextdoor is around 100,000. And 80% of our members are using mobile platforms.
Very cool. So you mentioned, it sounds like it's almost worldwide at this point. How big is Nextdoor specifically in Houston?
So in Houston, we've reached about 30% household penetration. And the last time that we pulled this data was late 2017. So that's increased since then. But the way to think about that is that's more than double the penetration that local newspapers have. So we have broader reach than local newspapers. And the thing I really like about Houston is it's actually one of our top 5 strongest markets in terms of engagement for real estate. We've got lots of success stories from agents, and I'm not sure what's going on in Houston, but it seems like a lot of people are buying and selling homes, which is exciting.
Yes, they are. So I was going to ask, why should a real estate agent sign up? But it sounds like it's pretty obvious. It's widely used in Houston, but do you have, anything else?
Yeah. No, I think, what's really interesting is that Nextdoor gives agents an opportunity to build relationships with owners well before they plan on selling in a market where we know that supply and inventory is very constrained. And as I mentioned, Houston is just one of the hottest markets right now. So our agents are seeing a lot of success. And interestingly enough, HAR is, one of our top providers of listings. So all of your listings are already on Nextdoor. So it's easy to claim them.
Very cool. So what specifically can real estate agents do on Nextdoor? You said you can claim listings. Is there anything else they can do?
Well, that's a great question. There's really 3 tiers of products. We have a free product, a mid-range product, and then a higher end product. So the free product is really just claiming a free business page, like a lot of other platforms. And what that allows you to do is really highlight your reputation. So as members are recommending real estate agents that they've worked with, they can actually just tag your business page. And that way you sort of control the branded message, and then you have all the contact information up to date so that when somebody wants to reach out, they can do that easily. The second is what we call our branded listings product. And for a pretty low monthly fee, you can brand some of your listings to put your reputation, including your photo, all the recommendations from neighbors, et cetera, right next to your listing. And then the third and really the most valuable platform, I think, is the ability to sponsor next door neighborhoods at the zip code level. So you can say, I want, zip code area 770, whatever. And then your ads will be shown in three places. One is in the news feed where members are already, highly engaged, doing those things like looking for lost pets, getting recommendations, talking about community events. And we have a little carousel, and I can show this in screenshots later, that shows some real estate content. So your ad is above that. It's at the top of our dedicated real estate section. And it gets sent in our daily digest on Thursdays through Saturdays in email that has a roll-up of all the activity for that neighborhood. Now, what's really interesting about this product, the neighborhood sponsorship product, is that because Nextdoor is a communication platform, we allow you to post content into the feeds of our members, which will establish you as a neighborhood expert and kind of give you the ability to interact with members and drive those relationships. You can post content like blog articles, market statistics, open houses, pocket listings, etc.
Okay, very cool. So how exactly are agents really marketing on Nextdoor? You mentioned the zip codes and things like that, but how are they doing that?
Yeah, I think the really important thing to think about is when you look at the marketing landscape, every home comes through a consideration funnel and buy and sell, right? So we are far more oriented on the sell side than a platform like Zillow because we have so many homeowners on our platform already.
Mm-hmm.
We're much further in the consideration, or much higher in the consideration funnel, rather. So it's kind of an opportunity to, again, hit neighbors before they're even really thinking about selling their home. One way I like to think about this is it's sort of like a interactive digital direct mailer, right? You can farm certain neighborhoods at the zip code level, and you could put post-market stats, for example, and use our content feature. And that might be the first time that a member on our platform says, oh, wow, my neighborhood is doing so well. Homes, median prices are super high. The time on the market has been lower. Maybe now's the time to start thinking about selling. And your name is right next to that content. So it's much higher in the funnel on the sell side.
Absolutely. I always tell people when I teach classes, as far as marketing, they have to know you, like you, and trust you before they ever do business with you. So already having, an idea of you helps, right? So how currently, I know there are agents that are using it. I've gotten on Nextdoor myself and looked at some of this stuff. So what success are they having? Are they having success with it as of this point?
They are. Obviously, it depends on how much inventory is available in the zip codes. But we've had, as I mentioned, a lot of success, particularly in Texas. There are two case studies that come to mind. The first is an agent, Chandler Crouch, who's in North Texas. And he's been a huge advocate of Nextdoor and has really mastered this content marketing piece of it. So one example is he promoted a free property tax protest hearing on Nextdoor, and he had over 300 neighbors show up. So there's a bunch of leads that he got, just by posting an event on Nextdoor with outstanding success. Another is right in the Houston area, Michael Brombacher. He's written a few testimonials for us. He's great. And he says, things like, every call I get as a result of Nextdoor marketing turns into a qualified lead. He's seen about a 7x return on investment with his neighborhood sponsorship. So
he's actually our member too.
Yeah.
So.
He's a great, good guy.
So how can we do have some questions coming in, and I do see your questions. Natalie and Demetria will definitely get to those. Sherry, I see your question there as well. But you might be getting ready to answer it. So let's just go ahead, and I want to ask you, how do we get started? How do they get started with it?
Yeah, it's super simple. You just head to realestate.nextdoor.com. And your first step is really just to claim your free business page. So we have all the correct contact information if members want to get in touch with you. And then as you've done that, on the sponsorship side, you can just enter in a zip code to see if that zip code is available and what the price is to sponsor.
Okay, so that does lead into one question. Natalie asked, she's on the zip code wait list. When she signs up for a zip code, how long is the commitment? Meaning, how long might she have to wait?
That's a really great question. Right now, the commitments are month to month. So it could be within, at the end of this month, a spot could open up. And we continue to open up inventory as the member base scales. So if there's more, a number of members in our zip code that could look at your advertisement and there's enough to share the pie, we may open up one slot. But typically we try to keep that to a minimum so that the number of content that's being posted isn't overwhelming for our members. But it may be as short as a month. It could be longer depending on how long somebody's in those zip codes.
Okay. So another question we have here, Dimitri is asking what level is included in Platinum tools. I think she's actually referring to the HAR Platinum tools. So it's not a part of the Platinum tools necessarily, but as Josh said, they do have, a free claim your profile, and that can you just remind them of what all on there is just free to just get started with?
Yeah, you can claim your business page, and then again, members tend to recommend each other. So as I mentioned, 28% of conversations are professional service recommendations. So if they say, hey, I want to recommend Christina as a great real estate agent, they can tag you in your page, and then you have control over the photo that they see, the message and the greeting, and then it also gives them a quick private message button that they can message you on.
Very cool. Okay. Sherry just asked, don't you have to have 3 referrals before you'll show on Nextdoor as a realtor?
No, you'll show as a realtor on Nextdoor one way or the other with our freemium products or our claimed business page. The way that it works, though, is that it's typically scoped into the neighborhoods in which members view you. So they'll only see the recommendations of any members that are within the same surrounding area. Not the exact same zip code, but a pretty broad radius around those zip codes. We find that it actually helps our members find better recommendations when it's scoped to the people that are around them. That's what makes the platform so powerful.
So DJ had a question about when you're paying for a zip code, is there a limit to the amount of posts per month? I guess he experienced some sort of limit.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason for this is that we have to continue, Nextdoor is a social network that's built on trust, and we have to continue to build trust into our members. So we don't want an unlimited amount of real estate posts or commercial posts sort of flooding the feeds of our members. So we try to limit that to a reasonable amount. So we have a few different types of posts that you can create, and I can show you screenshots of that quickly after this. But polls, events, and blog posts are the big one. And then you can also promote up to 4 open houses per month. And what that does is that creates an event that sits in the dedicated event section, and then we'll actually bubble up those listings in the roll-ups that we have in the feed and in the digest email.
Okay. So Vicky is asking, can you have a Nextdoor account as well as a business page?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of our real estate agents do. Again, we're all about trust and verifying addresses. So you can only have a private account where you actually live, not necessarily in the zips that you sponsor. But you can have both, and you can easily switch between the two.
Okay. Margaret's asking, she says she's already sponsoring a zip code. She's asking what stats are available to measure ROI. Unlike, the example you provided about Michael with the 7 times return, she hasn't seen any stats to help her determine her ROI.
This is a really good question. I think the way that Michael was calculating it is that he's, very stringent about attributing where his leads come from. And so he's able to say, okay, based on this commission, here's how much I've spent for the last 6 months, and I've made 1 lead. That's a 7x multiple. Now, we don't actually quantify and show you the number of leads that you got, in part because we're really about that brand awareness at the top of the funnel, but also because a lead is a little bit out of our control. Once they've gotten to your business page, they can call you, they can email you, so it's a little bit hard for us to quantify that. Now, what we do show in the platform is how many people you're reaching and at what cost. So we'll show you for a 30, 60, or 90-day window exactly how many members on Nextdoor saw your advertisement and how many times and what it costs to reach each one of them. And it's generally it's much cheaper than even direct mail. Okay.
So similar question here. Juliana's asking, she's been sponsoring a few zip codes for a few months. What's the expected time frame to start seeing results, i.e. leads, and is there a way to boost those results?
Yeah, I'm glad you're a sponsor. That's awesome to hear. We typically find that because we're higher in the funnel, it takes really 3 to 6 months for somebody to kind of walk through that consideration funnel after they've seen your name. So most of our agents find that they see a lead within 3 to 6 months. Now, boosting results, it's a really good question. We have some best practices online, but I'll say the two primary ways are, one, to make sure that you're getting lots of those recommendations from members that you've worked with before. So you can send out your link and ask for recommendations to clients that you've worked with in the past. And when a new member is coming along and they see your their profile, obviously that's better social proof for them to know that you're a great agent. And then the second piece is really about really utilizing that content posting feature to be able to drive relationships and leads on the platform. We find that pocket listings, open houses, market statistics are really good at driving warmer leads. And then, doing things like, free community events where you can meet lots of people and sort of establish yourself, and promoting those on Nextdoor, and polls as well is a good way to drive some cooler leads.
Absolutely. Okay. So Dee, she has more of a specific question, but I think it does, it could impact other people. She basically said that she signed up last year. It's a pretty long question, so I'm just going to summarize. She signed up to sponsor a zip code. Her credit card, she canceled her credit card and was issued a new one, but then she lost the zip code when she went to sign back up.
Oh.
Very frustrating, and she was basically put on the wait list at that point. So is there a way around that? I mean, do you guys have some sort of, customer service or something that they could try to reach out to resolve things like that? Or
we do have a customer service account. You can reach it. I don't have the email address offhand, but it's on our website. If you log in and hit help. Unfortunately, with that situation, it's kind of hard because we can't take that spot from somebody that's already signed up. Now, we do typically, when a credit card gets declined or fails or whatnot, we try to reach out to those agents first to address that situation beforehand. So I'm hoping that happened first. It may not have been the case, but I would definitely start by going to help.nextdoor.com and submitting a ticket there. All
right, so that was help.nextdoor. I'm just going to put that up on the screen for everyone to see, help.nextdoor.com. So hopefully you can get that situation resolved. Another question here, Nancy said she tried to set up a free page and it says invalid user. She already has a private account. Any thoughts on that?
Interesting. That should still work. We have the ability to create both a business account and a member account under the same email address. So I'm wondering why that's not working. Same thing. I would go to help.nextdoor.com and let them know, and we can get someone on the phone to help her walk through and set that up.
Okay, that kind of goes along. So you just said help.nextdoor.com again. Is there a phone number? Laura was just saying she's kind of had some issues using in the past, so she was just looking for someone to speak to, really.
There is not an inbound phone number. We do call over the phone, but what I can do is I can have our customer success manager follow up after this call. So Christina, you can give me the contact information.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll look into that with you, Laura. Okay, so basically this is a similar question. Somebody said they were trying to sign up. What if there are already agents in that zip code? And like you said, it just kind of gets.
This is a good question. So depending on how large the zip codes are, we do share the sponsorships with up to, I believe, at the most we have 6 sponsors in one zip code, but that's fairly rare. On average, I think it's about 1 to 2 spots per zip code. So you're not sharing with a ton of people. But the way that it works is that it's equally distributed amongst those sponsors. So you're basically roughly paying the same amount per viewer that gets to see your advertisement. And it will essentially randomly choose one of the sponsors in that zip code and display that sponsor for 5 minutes throughout the site. So there's some level of continuity between it.
Okay. Margaret, I do see your comment. We'll also, we're going to give Josh Laura's information, so we'll give him your information as well. She's just looking for somebody to contact her. So Candace asked, should I claim my business page as an individual or as a realtor? I mean, it sounds like you can do both, right? But specifically for real estate, I would imagine you'd want to do it as a realtor.
That's right. You'll want to do it as a realtor. There's like a new feature that's coming out soon where if you're tagging it as a realtor, we give you the option to overwrite the brokerage name to what and put your license number there. So there's some features that are, and actually even to sponsor the sponsorship, your business page must be tagged as a real estate agent or broker. So you'll definitely want to use those tags.
All right, so Valerie is actually looking to see on-screen instructions, so we're going to be going into that in just a second. All right, just seeing if we have any other questions before we kind of show Josh has some screenshots for us that we're going to provide. All right, so I'm going to get off the screen and actually show some screenshots that Josh provided for us, and he's going to talk to you guys about what that is. And if you have other questions, just go ahead and keep typing those in, and we'll get to those when we finish this little view here.
All right, awesome. We have a lot here, so I'm going to go kind of quickly so that we have time. But I just wanted to give everybody a sense that maybe hasn't used Nextdoor, what the member experience looks like, how real estate looks to members, and then also a little bit about what the business experience looks like. So this is kind of small. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. So what you're looking at here is really just the feed. And you'll see on the left-hand side, we have all of our sections, including real estate, that are dedicated to different functions. So, the typical case is a member may come in to really just kind of keep up to date on the community. This is my neighborhood, Mira Loma. And you can see that, one of my neighbors is throwing a back-to-school honey fundraiser, which is pretty interesting. Now, if you go to the next slide, you'll see that as members are scrolling through this feed, they're hit with this real estate content where they can see new listings or recently sold listings and open houses in the surrounding neighborhoods that they live in. And again, this is where your advertisement would exist, and you're just a click away from your business page. So if I were to click on Amy Andrews there, I would go straight to her business page where I could contact her. And if you go to the next slide, if you were to click directly on that real estate section, here's the sort of dedicated native experience we have for real estate. It's very map focused. Again, it's showing all of the listings around my area, and I can zoom out and pan over and look at listings all day long if I'd like. And on the right-hand side is really a list of those listings, again, with your your ad unit and a little bit of your reputation highlighted there, and a one-click button to be able to ask you a question. So, all right, so here is what our listings look like. Pretty standard affair. Lots of high quality photos, all the information that you'd expect. I would say what's unique is we do have, it's not on this screenshot, but we have partnered with a company called House Canary that has, industry leading automatic valuation models, which I know can be a touchy subject for many, but we found through our members was really table stakes to be able to use our platform and find information. We wanted to keep them on our platform instead of using Zillow. And we actually were able to do something really interesting with that information. Because we have 100% verified addresses, we can show a comparison of that member's home to that listing. So if you see in the right-hand corner here, it says, here's Dalewood Way compared to Myra. And it has some information like around the square footage and then the home's value. And you can link into a full comparison of that. And this is really interesting because for many times, this is the first time they've seen how much equity they've, kind of accrued in their home, which is sort of driving them down that consideration funnel on the sell side. And that feature has been really engaging for our members. They've used it quite a bit. We'll go to the next slide. Oh, here's the detailed view of that. And this is just a starting point. You can see if you're looking at a listing, how much more interior size you'd be getting, or the lot size, when the year was built, how the home is predicted to fare in value over a 3-year window, et cetera. All right. This is an example of our daily digest email. So again, on Thursdays through Saturdays, we include this real estate section, which has a link to the sponsor, as well as some of the more interesting properties. On Thursdays, this is really geared towards open houses to drive, real leads in the real world. And then on the next slide, I think you'll see, if you scroll down through that email, here's, kind of the blown out version of that with your photo and contact information. All right, this is what a business page looks like. So once you've claimed your free business page, here's all the information you can include. updating your name, making sure the address, phone number, website, and contact information are correct, and then all of the recommendations that you've received from your neighbors. Next slide. So that's really the member experience, and now you're looking at the customer experience, or the agent experience. So once you've logged in, and if you've tagged your business page as real estate, you'll see, these sections on the side: your reputation, sponsorship, listings, content, etc. Here's the content tab. So this is what I was talking about. This example agent posted a market report for that zip code that has some statistics. You can promote open houses, create a poll, and we'll walk through some of these examples. So if you go to the next slide, this is what a local update may look like. Now you can choose, if you sponsor multiple zip codes, you can say, okay, I only want to sponsor or post this in 94127. You can add photos, you can add links to more external content. And on the next slide, we'll show open houses. So the way to open houses work is, if we have a listing on a platform, which we have all of HAR's listings, you just put in the address and then click select, and it pre-populates all the information, and then you would just add a little bit more information about when the open house is. Next slide. This is exactly that, open house. Here's a really light way to interact and build relationships with the neighborhoods. So here's a poll. Again, you can choose which zips to target, and this one is really about, what do you love most about living in Mira Loma? These are, again, not the warmest leads you'll get, but they tend to be really, really engaging for members. Members love filling out polls, and so it's really just a good way to establish yourself as that neighborhood expert. And then lastly, this is the event content type. So here's the example that Chandler Crouch used, which is just a free protest workshop for property tax increases. But you can use this for Little League games. We've seen it used for garage sales, for real estate agents that want to sell all the remaining furniture that's in a house that's being sold, etc. And I believe that, and then here's an example of really what it looks like as members comment on and ask questions. So they can thank or reply, or you can directly message a sponsor as well.
That's great, thank you.
You bet.
So we did have some questions come up while you were presenting that. So let me just kind of scroll back down so I can get the first one first here. Okay. Just a couple people that are having, I guess, some technical issues with it. So we'll definitely get, Josh, your information. Those of you, I see a few people have said that. So we'll get Josh your information so that he can have somebody reach out to you. Excuse me, Amanda asked, is there a list that shows the amount of Nextdoor members in a zip code?
There isn't a list, but when you do go through the sponsorship flow and you put in a zip code, it will tell you exactly how many active members we have there and roughly the cost to reach each of them. Okay.
So someone else is asking about investors. Can a real estate investor who buys a zip code set up a business page in the real estate section?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't really limit. So we've had broker teams, small.
Oh, God. Sorry about
that. Am I back?
Hit the wrong button. I was trying to hide your name.
Okay.
So an investor who buys a zip code, the question was, can they set up a business page in real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any business can set up a business page, and then again, if it's tagged as a real estate agent or a broker, you're able to claim and sponsor a zip code. Now, we do occasionally see non-real estate related companies try to do that and abuse the platform, and so we're pretty quick to get them out to make sure that really real estate agents are the ones that have access, or investors have access to the platform.
Okay. So Sandra asked, may I apply for a zip code without having any listing on that specific zip code?
Oh, absolutely. You can sponsor any zip code you'd like. Yeah.
Okay. Michelle asked, do you offer one-on-one demos?
Do we offer one-on-one demos? It's not something that we've done in the past, given the scale, but it's definitely not something that we're opposed to. If somebody has a question, again, I would say we can just reach out. Maybe you and I can chat afterwards and figure out a good way to get some of this contact information.
Absolutely. Okay, so Sherry asked, can we only show homes in zip code we buy or the zip code we live? And I think we answered that. The answer is yes, right?
Only in the ones that you buy. Now, you could definitely, if you have a private member account, you could post in that zip code, but I think you'll find that your neighbors will get upset very quickly that you're using the platform incorrectly.
Okay. Valerie asked about demos. Are there any, I mean, we talked about if you could do one-on-one demos, but she just said really any demos at all. Are there any on the website or videos that they could watch or anything like that?
We do have quite a bit of documentation on help.nextdoor.com, and there's a dedicated real estate section that will go through a lot of it. I think this will also be recorded later, so you can walk through the screenshots again as you like. If there's appetite for it, I'm also happy to do another session or a separate session where we can go a little bit deeper and walk through some of the product as well.
Okay. So Sonia asked, is there a fee for using content?
No, that comes with the neighborhood sponsorship. So if you pay to sponsor that zip code, in addition to your ad automatically being displayed to members, you can post up to 2 pieces of content per month and promote up to 4 open houses.
Okay. She also asked, when you promote an open house, does it have to be in a sponsored zip code? I think we answered that too. I don't think.
It does not need to be. It should probably be nearby for it to be relevant for members. It does have to be a listing that's already on the platform. So we do not have 100% coverage. We're continuing to work with MLSs and brokers to onboard new listings every week. But again, 100% of our listings are up there, so chances are your listings up.
So if your listing's on HAR, then you should be good to go.
Exactly.
Tina asked, while on the wait list, is there a way for them to find out like the monthly charges and things like that?
This is a great question, and something that I've noticed recently is that we actually don't show the price when you try to sign up on the wait list, which is silly. So we're in the process of fixing that right now. However, if you do add yourself to the wait list right afterwards, it will show you exactly what the price is, and it won't sign you up, so you'll get an indication. It's just kind of a weird UI flaw, but we're on it. Okay.
So Laura asked, can they have more than one business page?
Oh, you can have as many business pages as you like. We recommend that you keep it, scope it down to the bare minimum, so that your recommendations, are all on one page. But if you have different business entities, let's say you own a restaurant in addition to, a brokerage, you could do that as well. Or if you have multiple offices, you could create multiple profiles for each office with different contact information.
Okay. So might be a little confusion here. Margaret asked, does HR feed the open house promo, or do we have to go into Nextdoor to post it there?
Really good question. So HAR listings do have open house dates on them, and we will automatically ingest those and continue to show them in areas where it makes sense. But by promoting it, you do get to add a little bit of color to the open house. If you're going to have a question and answer session or sushi or champagne or whatever it is, and you want to merchandise it a bit better, you can do that. And then promoting it also pushes it a little bit higher in those carousels and those roll-ups each week. Okay.
We don't do sushi and champagne. We do margaritas and chips and queso.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Different, I think.
All right. Mary asked, she'd like to see it from the beginning. Yeah, Mary, as soon as we finish, it'll be posted as a video on HAR's Facebook page, so you can watch it from the very beginning there. Okay, what is the, Jim asked, what is the plan option under listings get us for the fee? What branding does it add?
Oh, right. So this is the branded listings feature that we talked about earlier. This is a pretty, lightweight ad, and so the price, I think, is set accordingly. It's a fairly cheap product. But essentially, your listing information is already on each listing that you own, but it's typically just a link to the broker website and then your contact information and your name. What this does is it kind of up at the top right-hand corner puts your Nextdoor reputation next to the listing. So your photo, any of the recommendations that neighbors have given you to sort of, again, help people convert. And then it also adds a quick private message button next to it. So it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away for somebody to contact you.
Okay. Hina asked, can they sponsor a neighborhood instead of a zip code?
Great question. Not today. This is definitely something that we hear a lot of requests for, and we're in the process of building, particularly in areas like Houston where there are very large zip codes. So it's certainly on the roadmap. I think it'll probably land somewhere in early to mid 2019, but our target is early 2019.
All right. Laura, another request there for trainings or demos and things like that. So we'll definitely try to get you guys some of that information.
You bet.
Somebody else said, can we work on creating a continuing ed class for realtors on Nextdoor? It sounds like you guys want to learn more about Nextdoor. Okay.
Yeah, we should afterwards. I'm happy to, again, dive deep if there are sessions that we do.
We love training videos here. So anytime we can get something like that from you guys, that would be really helpful, I'm sure, for our members.
Absolutely.
Okay, does the listing plan, Sonia asked, does the listing plan only go to up to 6 listings?
There are 3. It's a little bit confusing. I think our pricing scheme is probably too varied, but you can buy 6 plans. There's 3 plans that are a 6-month commitment and 3 that are a year-long commitment. You get a discount for doing the year-long commitment. And then, yes, there's a plan that allows you to brand 1 listing, one that allows you to brand 4, and another that allows you to brand 6. If you've used one of the 6, you can buy another plan to do another 6 or 4. So you can do as many as you'd like.
Okay. All right. So Maria asked, so for members if we're members, and also have a free business page, can we get recommendations from our neighbors?
Members, I'm not sure I understand the question, but yeah, I mean, there are some tools, including links, et cetera, for you to be able to send your page and request recommendations from clients that you've worked with in the past.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that answers the question. But
I think she's asking specifically her neighbors. Maybe she hasn't done business with them, but
Yeah, it's worth a shot. If you haven't done business with them or really provided any value, they may kind of turn away from it. So you may want to do something like a community garage sale or an ice cream sundae or something simple, at least in advance to sort of grease the wheels for those recommendations.
Absolutely. All right. So I think we may have answered all the questions. So let me just double check. Yeah, I think that's all I'm seeing come in at this point. But if we have any other questions that pop up after the fact, we can definitely reach back out to Josh and get those questions answered.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So again, thank you, Josh, so much for joining us this morning. This was really helpful. And I think, obviously you said that Houston is one of the most popular markets for this. And I think that showed today with all the great questions that we got from our members. So thank you. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up at this point. Josh, did you have anything else that you wanted to share with our members?
No, thank you so much for the time. It was great meeting everybody. And please let me know if you have any other questions.
Sure. Thank you so much. All right. Well, that's it for Member Focus Monday for today. We'll see you guys back next Monday, 9 a.m., same time, same place. Bye-bye.